Hello everyone, I hope you all doing great wherever you are, that you're having a very wonderful moment, and this is your standpoint once again, and I'm so excited, I'm so delighted today be having two guests, and we have a very amazing topic, a very serious topic by the way. So before I just get into the topic, I would like to welcome my guest, and let me start by my left side since it's his very first time to be here.
Yes, thank you so much for firstly this time. My name is Edouard Manirakiza. This is my name. Many times they call me Obama. It's kind of nickname being called by some different young people. And I'm done with my studies. This last year in university, and I am, English tutor. I help some different guys, teaching them, also bringing, taking to them some different subjects. That's it.
Wow, amazing. Why do they call you Obama? I'm just taken aback by that.
I'm curious. So actually, they call me Obama. Many times I ask this question to them, and they respond to me that, of course, they call me Obama simply because sometimes when I'm speaking, I quote him. And also they even, want to take me when as him when I'm talking. So that's a kind of, maybe I call it a confusion. So
no, it's not a confusion since you already use his
accent.
His accent, not only accent, but you also like to quote him, which means you really like his ideas. Oh, yeah. What is great.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, let me also welcome a brother here.
You should invite him for any topic why he's called Obama on the street.
Yeah, sure, I will, of course.
Okay, I will introduce myself. My name is Billy, and for me that's quite enough.
That's quite enough.
Yeah, thank you. And this is my first time here. This is my second time in your house.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's a very big privilege for us to always have you guys. And this is a standpoint, is a show where we just debate over different topics, where we talk about anything, and we just have to share ideas and opinions, and we don't have to agree on just one single opinion. So today we'll be talking about a very serious topic, which is Africa, especially Burundi, the best place or a good place to dwell in, to live in, or just to be, having fun, or not only having fun, but also to enjoy or to live with good, life conditions. So I'll start by Mr. Obama. What do you think about that? Is Africa or Burundi the best place that people would like to live in?
So yeah, thank you so much firstly for the introduction of the topic. So I think, as far as I'm concerned, Burundi is the best place, of course, to be, just on my side, on the side of my views. So simply because, firstly, it's a place where I was born, the place that I, of course, know well, that whenever you go in some different places about, this place, you end up really appreciating some different issues, though some other people, view it in a different way. So the way I see it is quite different from other people. Number one, Burundi is a place where a right to lands is allowed. People have right to have their own lands, and that is number one. Number two, Burundi is a place where even the people who are from outside, when they reach here, they enjoy living in the inn. So simply because of this kind of seasons that we have, which are of course good ones, and I remember one day I asked this question to a certain white woman. When she reached here, she said, "I really enjoy these types of environments." It is, the environments that we have in Burundi is quite different from their environments. Then I came to simply say, wow, imagine even the people from out who enjoy what we have within here. So I really do say most of the times, even conclude saying that this is a very good place to be, as of course a young native-born Burundian.
Well, I'll get back to you. I was about to say that's a paradox that people from outside enjoy the place more than the way our natives, do. But I would come back to that. Maybe they have the purchasing power that is enabling them to do stuff, yes, of course, to buy things. But whereas some people in Burundi say we don't have even means to just to buy food. So we get back to that. So I'd like to come back to the first question also.
I love that. From where you just ended.
Yeah, come on.
I think the issue of the purchasing power is not an issue of Burundi, of Africa. The issue of purchasing power is everywhere. Okay. Either you are in the States or you are in the UK, in Europe. Purchasing power is the struggle that everyone has. So it's not an issue of Burundi or anywhere. So just to show you that. And to support a bit my colleague there, our guest, Burundi is a wonderful place. I've gone different places, but I can assure you that Burundi is a different place, starting from the weather, you go to food, you go to security, you go to peace. Come on, I don't want to politicize what security and peace is, okay? But for me, I will tell you, you can walk in Burundi 24 hours without any problem. Either there is light or there is no light. That already is enough. So I don't want to talk about our touristic areas, or like the environment we have. All that is just wonderful. But also, why can't I say that I also love our social life, especially the kind of political system we have, which put first people before even money and other things. So our development is what I love the most about Burundi. We have this kind of development which is quite unique from other countries. Other countries are too very developed, material speaking, in the so-called international criteria of development. But ours is quite unique of Ubuntu. Yeah. So this Ubuntu is the very big riches that Africa have, which we still value in our country.
Excuse me, Billy, from what you're saying, that, here we have a ruling system that value the people the most. But sometimes we hear, so many complaints saying, there are people are getting richer and richer, where there are people who are very, going down and down, like facing, so many difficulties pertaining to financial, matters. So what do you think about that?
It is not true. That's not true. Okay. It's not true because I think if you saw the reports that I saw a couple of years ago, Burundi is in East Africa the first country where there's no gap between the rich and the poor. In Burundi, you can still live with a minister nearby. You can live with parliament nearby. You can live with the so-called business tycoons nearby, okay, as your neighbor. It's only in Burundi that you can do that. You can still go in the same club, in the same bar, in the same restaurant. It's only in Burundi that happens. In other countries, the gap is too wide. Therefore, inequality, if you want, and unfairness, I would say that.
Okay, great, amazing. So then here, I wonder why, so many young people, they just dream of going abroad. Like, what is the influence behind African youth migrating to Western countries? That's the question.
So what pushes them to simply leave or just have that kind of vision is that, of course, many of them, because they are in different categories. There are those who say that when we go there, we need to stay for good. They stay there forever. And they have those kind of views. And there are the other ones who say that when we go there, we simply go for studies, education, and there are even those who go there for work, for cases of life. So I think to try to simply say on this, I would like just to support those who go there, and they go there for education, and those who go there to make money. Then they come back to build in their countries where they, 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 they come from. So if you are given the opportunity to go out, and you are given the opportunity to go there, and they go there for education, and those who go there to make money, they simply then they come back to build in their countries where they come from. So
Would you go or would you stay?
So simply stepping out is because I'm not, of course, firstly against those people who go when they have this kind of ideology of building their own countries. So what is too bad philosophy is that kind of philosophy that they try to build within their mind, that of course when they reach there they will die there, which is a too wrong philosophy. I think what I support on my own is that when I am given that kind of opportunity, the number one idea is to simply to come back and build my country. And it is, in Burundi, things are easy. It is not the same, I think, as there, because I talk to some different guys, youth who are there. They say, of course, we get some amount of money, and the money that we get, we find ourselves using it in some different stuffs. But when we send some little amount of money like in USD, then they build some kind of little houses here. But when they stay with it, then the money will be consumed by some different stuffs there, even in those kind of taxes, fiscal systems.
I think migration is a very big issue. It's an international issue, as you know already now, as we are talking about. There are many reasons why that is happening. There is economic problems which are striking many countries where Africa is not spared. Of course, not only that, the world that we inherited is an unjust world that we inherited already, which brings factors of why many people are now leaving their places to migrate to other areas. So to first give the reasons why that should be, is that people, they want them self-aggrandizing. They want to grow. Okay, but of course it doesn't mean that I support the people migrating, because we cannot, a country cannot depend on migration or emigration or whatever that you want to call it. The country must depend on its own means, setting policies and regulations which facilitate people to grow. This is how the country should be. Because imagine if we were here in Burundi and we didn't know that the US or Europe or Canada exist. How could we survive? Of course, we could survive by our own means. How could we develop? We could develop with our own means. So this is, of course, what young people need to understand, and also as emphasized by our own president, Andai Shemia, who said that there is no wrong of leaving the country, going abroad, but if and when only you are going there in order for you to struggle, get the capital, and bring back the monies as a capital to start home. And so what I hate is when we do sometimes think that when a person is stupid in Africa, if he gets in Europe, he becomes smart. No. If you're stupid in Burundi today, don't the US you still be stupid.
Yeah, sure. But sometimes there are people who say they just even, prefer to go there because maybe the educational system is well structured, or even the health system is okay, more than it is here. What's your take on that?
Go first. I'll let you go first.
So, about the education, of course, we do have this kind of system education in Africa, which I can call, of course, is good. Is good in a way that, of course, we handle it, but not good enough.
Obama can say it's not good.
So, I'm sorry.
He's trying to be more.
That's tolerant. You can go ahead and say it's not good.
So I told you you guys to be extreme, not moderate.
Yeah. So actually, when we try to see the system education in Africa, there is still a kind of problem. So the problem that we do have is that the education, we find ourselves learning in the Western system, yet we are in Africa. So the way they study in French, you find it is the same here. And we don't see a kind of development within the education system, yet because we are doing something that is not ours. I think Africa should simply have its own far-reaching education system. which is particularly based on the African system, because when we try to simply see how Africa used to be even former time, Africa used to have a very good education, but it was simply disoriented by some people for their reasons. So we could simply find the best scientific people from Africa, even those people whom we hear from abroad. That kind of education they have, some of them in the past years, they gained it from Africa.
Yeah, they got it from Africa. It's from the ancient Egyptians. Remember, the Greeks, the Romans,
guys,
until it ended up to the European. It's from us.
Please, let's talk about the current moments. We don't want to go like in the antiquity, or like let's stay in the present moment.
Yeah, it's okay, because everything has the origin. Okay. So because it's where now we are, it had a kind of where it came from. So the education now, it's been disoriented. So it's no longer the way it should. So now we are having a problem of even knowing how to deal with some of the stuff. There are even the systems which are being changed, which also is killing in some ways, the kids, this generation. So I think Africa should simply create its own education system.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
You didn't tackle about health system, but you maybe combine. It's okay.
Yeah, no, it's not a matter of combining. I think he'll agree with me that there's no African who's gone to Europe because of health.
Okay.
They are not gone there because of health, because we are not sick, by the way. I must confess. People are just to reiterate or support my colleague there. The education system that we have in Africa is not really education. Is what I like to say most of the time, that an education which does not respond to your immediate need now and solve them, that's not education. Unfortunately, this is what we are doing. After colonialism, the curricula that we have, of course, which are the colonial curricula that we were given and handed to us, they are not realistic with African reality. Do you see?
Yes.
We are dancing on the anti-concept of the actual concepts on the ground. In its few words, there's a conflict between the reality of Africa and the education that we are getting. If you see many people, they are just wasting their time in it. Let me show you what you've been studying at your school throughout your years at school. Yeah. You were studying English. We even don't know why we're learning English. We studied French. We even don't know why we're learning French. What to do French with what, like in Burundi, what do I need to do French with? Okay? What do I need to do English with? It's not bad to learn English. We are using English here too. There's no wrong about that. But remember, we only did that because we expect that we can incorporate ourselves, okay, and adjust well with the West. You see, which first, that's a very big mistake. We studied at school about Shakespeare. What does Shakespeare have to do with my life? We studied in school about the history of First World War, Second World War, about Germany, the Nazis, and what does that have to do with me? And then we spent years and years doing this thing with no let up until the day you will leave those academic blocks to discover actually that what you are given was nothing as a baggage to help you, but polluting your brain with unnecessities. You will agree with me, this is what's happening right now in Africa. As you said, Africa needs to design her own curricula, which is based on true facts on the ground. And this curricula don't have to go too fast. We can start slowly designing our own until it becomes rich, but on our own pace and the reality.
Wow.
You see what I mean?
Yeah, sure. As for now, we are, talking about curricula. You just, bring me to what experts do say. They do say that Africa holds several opportunities, so many opportunities, all over Africa. So how can we use them effectively and try to take advantage of that?
They close the school.
Okay, come on.
Then we can think.
They close the school.
Then they think.
They close the African borders.
African borders.
Then we can think. Do you know what?
Come on.
We have this textile industry. What's the name again? Kotebu?
Kotebu.
Yeah, sure.
Kotebu.
Yeah.
Okay? Why is it not operating, if you ask yourself that question? Didn't you know that African people, they like to wear? Didn't you know that?
Yeah, sure.
They do.
If we have an industry like Kotebu which can make good clothes, why don't you wear from our own? Don't you have cotton? So imagine if only today the government takes the decision that we close all this kind of combo, that we can only wear that which is made in Burundi. You don't even say that that which is come from Burundi. You just say we don't need these second-hand clothes. Then Kotebu would function.
Protection.
And we will buy, trust me, clothes like we have no mind. And they will start the economy can grow. This is an example only of Kotebu. If I look at how young people, everyone will like to wear in Burundi, to show only how the billions we have. The problem that we have, we rush quickly in so-called globalism. There are people when they think that globalism, they think that we are the same. No, global village doesn't really mean that we are the same. Talking about the global village, we simply means a platform where everyone can bring a part. Okay, that's the global village is. It doesn't deny you to have an ideology of self on how to develop you as a country and your nation or society. Doesn't deny that. But for us as African people, when we say globalism simply means, those who have it will bring us. And they will cross our hand waiting. And indeed, they are bringing to us. They are bringing to us. And we are enriching them while we just stand behind.
Okay, well, you were talking about protectionism. But when the, policies are applied in a country, sometimes it leads to what I call like laziness. Because like there are so many, factories, like industries that we no longer be facing competition, and then that can lead to low quality of products that we get. You see, that's also a threat. Maybe it can also be dealt with. So Bama, do you have something to say about it?
Sure. So firstly, I support the idea of Mr. Moses, and but a kind of an additional point is we African people should have a new system of diplomacy, the way we negotiate with those Western people,
the world in general, if you want.
The way we negotiate with them, and because when you try to see how things work now, it's as if we're still in the past. When in the past, white people could be seen in this land, it was simply compared as a god. So it's kind of the same. There is a system which is still within the mindset of the African people. I think that should simply be over. Understand that white people are human beings, and even most of them, they're those who are stupid. So I call on this kind of, I use this kind of concept because I most of the times hear different people who believe in themselves simply because of this kind of shape. This is stupidity. And the way also people think of how they can simply deprive others, which is too bad. So I think African people should simply have a new way they negotiate with those people when they come here in Africa, and they come with this kind of ideology of extracting Africa. There should be African people ready to simply fight for the African property in a way of negotiation. They should be wise on those types of roundtable discussions.
Wow.
Yes.
Thank you. Win-win negotiations. I like that. Okay.
And again, not to say on that, I don't understand. We're in the capitalist world, am I right? Sure. And in the capitalist world means that he who has the capital, can access services, ideas, and even product. So is there a capital more than natural resources?
No, I don't think so.
I'm afraid the biggest capital one can have is natural resources.
Absolutely.
Natural resources.
Which Africa reserves more than 2/3 of the world natural resources.
Yeah.
It worries me a lot that whenever a government are talking of negotiation or diplomacy, they think that we need people to come, to investors to come. We don't need investors to come. It's not investors that Africa like. Because remember that investment, foreign investment, should be only temporary in the country, in order to educate the nation for a given set of time for a takeover. That's what foreign investment or should be. But today, we are now in a position where we are not even able to extract our own gold.
Yeah, sure.
And they say that we don't have expertise.
Also
Come
means
on.
sometimes,
Come
why,
on.
as you're saying, you know, we need temporary investment. Sometimes means, of course.
Don't you have banks?
Then you think that
Is there no all the bank? Is there no IMF?
Yeah.
Can't we get the loans from them?
We can.
Can't we buy experts
do you know?
to come on and teach our people?
Did you know that? You know,
Can't we buy machineries?
do you know that Burundi is now? They say it's even a category that is not allowed even to ask loans.
No,
in those
exactly.
decisions.
I think that system was tried by Gaddafi.
Yes, yeah, exactly. This is what you wanna go, Obama. You wanna go?
No, please. I brief. You know, would you continue? So as maybe I see time we are running out of time.
So the system was simply started by Muammar Gaddafi when he was still alive. He simply had like some kinds of natural resources, which was more than what the English people had. So he had even given loan to French president.
Yeah, Sarkozy.
So, yes, you know that the systems, Western system, how it is always. So, you know, whatever you can do, sometimes they deter you, right? So, what I heard last year, some years ago, when I could simply be on the TV watching, Gaddafi tried to be helping his population instead of just letting Western people to simply colonize him. He could just use his money to also colonize them. So he could simply give them some like loans. When you give a loan to somebody, you have him.
That's
Yeah,
correct.
sure. You see, Billy. Maybe you can also, you know, bounce from that.
Not at all. It's not that. Listen, all countries developed from loans. The most owing country in the world is the US. By the way, it's in trouble now. As I'm telling you.
Oh.
Yeah. So taking a loan is not bad, but what you wanna use the loan with is what matters. Remember, it's now more than 60 years that Africa is in the so-called foreign investment chant. But what have we got so far after 60 years? Let's go in the aid. How many? That's why I love when General Neva is saying that, okay, no problem. Don't give me any financial assistance. Stay with your financial assistance. Give me capital, which means a loan, and I will pay you back.
Okay.
Guess what?
Sure.
They will not.
They not give him right. True.
Because if you give a loan, it simply means that I have the right to do whatever I want with my loan. And I can use it wherever I want. And that, of course, should be for the development of the country, which, of course, many nations out there don't want to see Africa doing. Because remember, our rise is their fall. They'll do whatever to distract us from that reality.
Our rise is their fault.
But there is no choice. They have to take that queen in.
Yeah, sure, because it will happen
Exactly.
sooner or later.
There's no
That's
choice.
how it has to be. You know, we don't have any, power to avoid that.
We are not conscious. We are not conscious. We African people. Did you know that there's no power that can exist in this world without Africa?
Without Africa, there's no power.
Did you know that?
Oh, guys, without power, there's no Africa. See you guys. Stay tuned. This is BNP TV and the 10.2. You guys. See you. Thank you.